Welcome back, Commander. I am Korak, and this is Kane's Wrath on the map Tournament Highlands. Start us off in the top right-hand corner of the map, wearing the cyan robe, sporting the GDI gloves. Give it up for Futurama. His opponent from the moment in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, wearing the blue robe, sporting the black hand gloves. Here he is, Master Leaf. Both fighters ready. Begin. Welcome, Commander, to the second bracket, Group B. We did Group A earlier with Cyberstorm and Bart Jones, and the first of the secondary bracket is going to be obviously Master Leaf and Futurama. These are two players I always love seeing going back and forward. Master Leaf is always good for especially some of the more subverting expectations style tactics, some of the more weird stuff. He likes to play around with stuff, and sometimes it really works out in his favor. We've definitely seen some wacky stuff. More importantly, the operations center over here by Master Leaf is going to get spotted, which means that Futurama is going to know there is some trouble on his way, trouble on his front doorstep. APC moving in order to start the engagement, but there's too many rocket squads here. There is the drop of the infantry, but it's not going to be enough in order to save that APC. The APC gets taken out, and Master Leaf has free reign on top of these harvesters. Little bit of damage being dealt over here in the south. There's the Black Hand Squad to wipe up the scouts of Futurama. Well, there it is. We were waiting on it. There's the Reckoner. This is the rush by Master Leaf. He's going to grab this Reckoner. He's going to move his way up over there. I'm not sure that is the most optimal spot, but 3 rocket squads do go in and make their way in. They're going to begin their assault on these Predator tanks. Secondary Reckoner is on its way. Hopefully gets a little bit better position, a little bit further up in the Tiberium, and those rockets can start dealing some damage. There's the first watchtower taking out one of the rocket squads. It's going to be really unfortunate for this push. Master Leaf needed every single rocket squad he could get his hands on, and unfortunately he just did not have it. I suspect maybe he's not as warmed up as he normally is for these kind of events. This was kind of thrown at him sort of out of the blue. This push is sort of turning a little bit slower than it was before. This is forcing Futurama to sort of harvest in other locations, or at the very least push his harvesters back until all of these units are backed out. First Reckoner is down, rocket squads and their supporting infantry has soon to follow. There is the Reckoners. I suspect they were also on hold fire because they were not taking any shots at anything. Sell off of the watchtower, and the secondary Reckoner is down with all of the rocket squads inside of it. Master Leaf was not able to find the purchase that he wanted. He is going to be able to use his Black Hand Squad to kill the Tiberium spike of his opponent. Small wins where you can get them, but I believe, did he sell off his MCB? No, okay, so it wasn't an all-in rush. He did move over to his secondary natural expansion and did slow down Futurama, as well as take out his Tiberium spike. I'm not sure that's going to have a massive impact. I feel like the cost for 2 Reckoners and all of those early squads are going to be a bit more to deal with. I guess it's going to boil down to how Master Leaf deals with the harassment that is going to be incoming from Futurama, because it is now Futurama's time to go ahead and start his harassment, and that is what he's gearing up to. He's got a good chunk of pit bulls, a very large amount of pit bulls. We actually have 7 pit bulls here ready to go. Probably going to try to get some revenge on the Tiberium spike of his opponent, taking out the Confessor squads on their way over. Probably soon going to start chewing on that Tiberium spike. Wouldn't take too long. Secondary Tiberium spike for Futurama is taken out by Master Leaf's Black Hand squads, but they're going to get mopped up by that APC quick and in a hurry. A couple of Predator tanks moving in the north. Master Leaf needs to have an answer to that, because that is going to affect his harvesters. And actually, he hasn't developed his secondary natural expansion. Looks like he is a little bit behind because of that Reckoner push. It looks like the pit bulls are beginning or continuing their harassment on the Tiberium spike, but here are the rocket squads start mopping up some of them. It looks like Futurama's not going to find the purchase that he quite wanted to. He does go back for the Tiberium spike, and I think he manages to make it out with all of his pit bulls. That does appear to be the case. I don't think anyone has decided to grab for their blue Tiberium, and as soon as I say that, somebody makes me a liar. Futurama is absolutely right there and notices that Master Leaf's forces are on the way. I don't think he sees the second set of units, but it looks like man spam is the name of the game for Master Leaf, and he is going to try to use it to the best effect that he can. Pitbulls are going to notice once again that same squad that they passed earlier, and they're going to be looking for their harassment. Hopefully, watchtowers and APCs are going to be enough to defend against this particular assault. I believe it will be, especially if they can get those rocket squads down. And the Pitbulls did deal some damage to the secondary force that is arriving. Futurama moving into the base of Master Leaf, into the base of his opponent over here, and now he has free reign on basically everything that's over here. There's a couple of rocket squads, but not a lot of infantry units, and he's going to continue this assault. I believe there's a Black Hand squad in the mix there somewhere doing a good chunk of damage, and actually more of these Pitbulls are dying quicker than I thought I would. I would have focused on the harvesters instead of the infantry that keeps coming in, but he elected to not to. Master Leaf having a staggering amount of man spam, not unusual for the Black Hand faction, and it does seem to be working at least slightly in his favor. He's been able to push off Futurama's advances so far. No AP ammo as of yet for Futurama. That would definitely be really, really great into Master Leaf and into Master Leaf's man spam. Master Leaf continuing his assault, continuing to try and keep up the pressure. The APCs over here in the center of the map are going to force Master Leaf to group his infantry probably sooner than he wanted to and sort of tip his hand, but it doesn't matter. Master Leaf is attacking in 3 different spots all at once. APCs are taking out some targets, but rocket squads are doing just as much damage to their opponent. There's not enough APCs to contest with all of this infantry squad. I say that, and then more move their way in. There's only 4 APCs left as Master Leaf begins to move his way further into the south. His forces in the north have begun to move their way southward to try to support and fight against these APC. Futurama is the first to move into the middle of the map, gaining that control. Looks like we missed a little bit of harassment, and Master Leaf is just losing troop after troop, infantry after infantry. APC does finally get taken out, but it's not going to be enough to deal with this. Master Leaf has lost the center of the map. Infantry squads moving their way in with a couple of flame tanks moving their way in as well. First flame tank is moving down into the watchtowers of his opponents, into the watchtowers of Futurama. Going to try to wipe up some of these buildings. That'll be super great. Master Leaf is trying very, very hard to pull off these sneaky tactics, and Futurama is just not having it. Oh, and it actually looks like we're going to get an early MCV kill, and there it goes. Flame Tank's finding a purchase. Flame Tank's able to get exactly what they were looking for. That is absolutely huge. All of the mistakes that Master Leaf just made early on, or all of the miscalculations he made early on, were sort of wiped up by killing that construction yard, killing that MCV. That is going to be detrimental to Futurama. Futurama can rebuild that. He has plenty of war factories. His economy's probably not in a bad spot. And it looks like we got one of the flame tanks. He did not get the purchase that I think he wanted to. Quite with it, I think he mopped up one refinery, and that was really about it. Flame tanks versus APCs in the south. That's actually not a combo I get to see too much. And Master Leaf actually has a lot more of these flame tanks than I realized, and they seem to be doing a good chunk of damage. I usually don't get to see this many flame tanks in any game whatsoever. Usually they're just used as something sneaky. We do have the Marv out for Futurama over here. That is going to be great. That is going to be his bulwark, and that can be pretty decent into all of these squads, but it looks like the man spam for Master Leaf is just continuing and continuing to grow. Not sure if this is a new Juggernaut or the Juggernaut from the center that was able to back its way out, but it is going to start dealing some damage, but I'm not sure it's going to matter. Master Leaf just finding amazing purchase in these flame tanks. Moving in the north, moving in the south, he's just constantly moving all over the place, keeping Futurama on his toes with this crazy, crazy amount of units. Pitbulls, I believe, are noticed over here in the south as Master Leaf begins to make his way down. Futurama sensing that, moving his way further out somewhere else. The secondary MCV for Futurama is now out on the map, making his way to the center of the map, but Master Leaf is already established here in the center and has now moved into beam cannons. That is going to be a great answer for this Marv, and here they go. They're beginning to begin their assault on the Marv. They need time to build up their beam, and they need time to continue this assault, but I do think they have it here with the man spam, here with everything else. A couple of watchtowers, a couple of juggernauts here, but it's not going to be enough, I believe, to save this Marv. I think this Marv is going to have a very hard time making it out. More and more juggernauts join the fight as they begin to move their way in. There's the body block from the power plant. The power plant is going to help. More and more of these infantries are going to get wiped up, and it looks like Master Leaf is going for the secondary construction yard. Losing that would be 7,000 down the drain, but oh no, there's a really great body block over here by Futurama. Power plant goes up, power plant goes back down, and along with the construction yard. That is 2 construction yards down. And no harvesting was able to get done by Futurama. Master Leaf has just been an absolute pest. Infantry versus all of these Juggernauts is going to go in the favor of the infantry. It looks like the beam cannons have moved their way out and are moving their way back in, taking out the Juggernauts. Their only real threat. Marv moving its way, getting its crush on all of the infantry, but I'm not sure what it's going to be able to do. I think it's going to die to the beam cannons here any moment while more and more reinforcements of Futurama begin to make their way up. And there we go. We've got an upgraded beam cannon. I'm not sure how much gas Futurama has left in the tank, and there it is. There is the towel. Futurama has called it. Master Leaf's man spam, Master Leaf's flame tanks, Master Leaf's beam cannons were just too much to deal with. He was a little shaky in the beginning, but he began to make rapid gains and capitalized on Futurama's mistakes as best he could, winning him the round. That was an exciting first round, Commander. I'll see you in round number 2. There you are, Commander. We are now on the map, Badland Hills. We have Futurama still over here in the cyan, but he has mixed it up and switched over to Traveler 59, and over on the right-hand side of the map, still rocking the blue, still rocking the, well, actually not still rocking the GDI, switching to GDI, we have Master Leaf. I don't normally get to see that amount of man spam, that amount of sort of 3-pronged attacks from Black Hand players, so that was definitely a step above the rest from what I normally get to see. Like I said, it's always exciting to see what Master Leaf has in store, what he plans and what he transitions into. And actually, from what I understand, Futurama switching over to Traveler 59, if I remember correctly, Traveler 59 is probably Master Leaf's better faction, at least from what I can tell. Someone maybe who's more familiar with Master Leaf can let me know down in the comments if Traveler 59 is his sort of go-to. From what I understand, it is. He's electing not to go for it for the time being. I guess if you're known for a particular faction, it's probably not a bad idea to mix it up. Badland Hills is not a map I get to cast too often, but every time I do get to cast it, I have a super great time. I think it's a very interesting map in the way it's set up. I'm not as much of a player as I probably should be. I should get more games under my belt, learn the game a little bit better in order to help my casting, but I'm primarily interested in casting itself. So I don't know how Badland Hills is feeling wise, like as into play. There is the first set of buzzer hides, probably going to get a sell off here in a minute, protecting Futurama's base, getting rid of the scouting of his opponents. First set of Seekers are moving their way in over on Master Leaf's side of the map, but the important part is Master Leaf is going to see it coming. First Watchtower is out, low power mode, switching over to the refinery. Secondary Watchtower is out, taking this Seeker tank to half HP, but they do switch target last minute. We're doing the do-si-do right now with the Harvester. It is stopping Master Leaf from harvesting, but Futurama does lose an early Seeker tank, and one does take about half HP. If I remember correctly, though, on this map, there is only one set of blue Tiberium, which Futurama does seem to be going for, and he actually almost has a full load of that blue Tiberium. And then, obviously, your natural expansion is this massive blob on both sides of the map, and then you move into here, right here, and I believe this is a Tiberium field that is just growing slowly over time. It doesn't start at full capacity. It works its way up to that. Much like the blue Tiberium, but with a little bit more in the tank than a blue Tiberium spot on most of the maps. Seeker tank versus Predator is going to be no competition whatsoever, as the Predator doesn't even pay attention to it whatsoever. He's going about his day and taking the kill as he goes. Good boy Gunwalker is going to get his first little snack for the day. Hopefully it is not the last one. 2 Seeker tanks are moving their way in, destroying the Predator tank. Predator tank just not able to take on 3 Seeker tanks right after each other over and over, losing a Predator tank for Matt. Actually, no, he's gonna live with no HP whatsoever. I'm not sure what that is, what that was. I'm not sure why nobody decided to finish each other off over there. Secondary Predator tank is going to move its way in, taking out the Seeker tank. Master Leaf really needs to back up this Predator tank, but he's probably got bigger problems than just one Predator tank to deal with. He's going to notice that these Disintegrator squads are beginning to move their way forward, beginning to kill these foxholes. Even those infantries are going to do a good chunk of damage, and they're going to slow down a lot of assault of Futurama. However, the Disintegrators are not gone just yet. There is the mine drop by the APC, and the last little bits of the descents get mopped up. Unfortunately, though, I think with the way the Fog of the War is set up, is I believe Futurama is going to see that there is a airfield. He definitely sees it now that he's got a lightning spike inside of Master Leaf's base. And it looks like he's doing another descent. I won't call it a rush, but sort of descent assault over in the north. We'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm sure those are going to move here any moment. Gunwalker's going to start taking some damage on these Orcas. Orcas probably going for a Harvester or a T3. They do see the T3. They are going to bomb it. They do scout it, and so that's going to be important for Master Leaf. Master Leaf now knows that Futurama already has his T3 up and raring to go. I'm not sure if Master Leaf has his just quite yet. I don't think he does. I think he's a little bit delayed with having all of those APCs and having all of those air units. Shatterers are here in order to support all of the APCs as they begin to move their way into the center of the map. There is the first one click. There is the slowing effect for Traveler 59. I was actually told today that both Traveler 59, Scrin, and Reaper all have different styles of bubbles. One stopping, one slowing, and I'm not sure quite what the other one does. I'm honestly gonna have to make a spreadsheet for the differences of these factions, because it's a lot more than I originally realized. First fight is moving its way in. It looks like the Shatterers are focusing on these plasma batteries. Probably not a bad strategy. They need to get the Gunwalkers down next in order for the Hammerheads to move their way in, and the Hammerheads will have free access to these tripods. Futurama's not looking in a good position over here. Tripods are exposed in a dangerous position. There is another plasma missile battery pushing the Hammerheads their way out, as APC after APC is just getting absolutely eviscerated by this tripod. There is the stasis. There is the tripod with its invincibility, and it's going to be able to get a couple of crushes out on the Predator tank, and this super aggressive assault that was in Master Leaf's favor has been turned around by a one click, has been turned around by a couple of units here. Warp Chasm, which I believe gets out the Eradicator Hexapod, is under fire. It's at half HP as Master Leaf is desperate to destroy it. There is the kill-off of the Eradicator Hexapod, saving that little bit of money, saving that little bit of cash, and things are truly going back and forth. This is still really anyone's game. There is that tripod still left and raring to go, finally getting taken out. Both players are going blow for blow, punch for punch, not giving up, continuing this assault. But the important part is that while this assault is going on, Master Leaf is controlling the center of the map, even if he hasn't moved his way quite into it. However, Futurama has a little bit of an advantage. Prodigy moves forward, I believe, grabs that, and Master Leaf actually throws in the towel. I don't know if I missed something there, but he actually gave up. Maybe he just lost too many forces in that initial engagement. I'm unsure. There were a lot of Seeker tanks that were previously in the north. Maybe they snuck around over behind Master Leaf. I'm not sure quite yet. Either way, Master Leaf has called it GG, and we're moving on to match number 3. Here we are, Commander, in match 3, round 3, between Master Leaf and Futurama. We are moved on to the map Tournament Odyssey. Over in the top right, it looks like Master Leaf has maintained his blue and has moved over or stayed with GDI. Over in the bottom left, we have our Cyan player, who's of course Futurama, and he has decided to go Black Hand this time around. He saw what Master Leaf was able to do that last round, and now he wants to take a whack at it himself. Futurama seems to have a lot more of the solid and concrete strategy. He tries a lot less weird stuff, and when he does, his formations usually feel pretty solid. His transitions usually feel pretty solid. He typically thinks it through rather thoroughly, in my opinion. and tries to execute it. And obviously, every player sits there and tries to think and practice their particular strategies in this match and that match. But I've just had an extra appreciation for players like Futurama, specifically Futurama. When it comes to the strategy he chooses to implement, I learn a lot from his games, like learning that into the Scrin faction, man spam and avatars can do quite well into the forces of Scrin. Of course, you need, if they go air forces, of course, you need something in order to counter that too. But for sort of the general Scrin strategies, that seems to be what his go-to is. Right now, both players are still just feeling each other's out, checking out the natural expansions, building up the natural expansions, and poking when and where they can. I like to call this sort of the sharking phase. I don't know if I heard that from someone or if it just sort of popped in my head. Either way, I think that it is a good strategy because that's what they're looking for. They're looking for blood in the water. They're looking for vulnerabilities. And granted, they'll always be doing that. But in this stage in particular, that's kind of where I noticed the most of it. And it's probably because it's easier to concentrate on just a couple of units that move here and there. We are going to get a Harvester mowing down a couple of these Confessor squads sort of unceremoniously. Futurama has moved a little bit of his man spam over from his secondary natural expansion, and he's going to start poking at Master Leaf here any moment, trying to get what kills he can. I believe he's moving his way towards the old main base of Master Leaf. Foxhole for Leaf is going to be extremely annoying sitting here. It's going to be able to give Leaf infinite, visibility. Words are hard. APC's moving their way onto the forces of the Black Hand, onto Futuramas, and they're actually going to be able to get a good chunk of these Harvesters taken out before they go down. One APC got down to half HP, but they got what they wanted. They were able to kill the units of their opponent. Pillbox is finally getting taken out by Futurama. Futurama is saying, "You are no longer welcome over on my side of the map. Please get out." And we do actually have our first Ox Carrier with a single infantry. I'm not sure what the point of that is. Maybe he's going to pop it over here on the secondary natural expansion of Futurama to see what he can see coming. That does appear to be the case. He's going to continue getting that scout. I feel like that's a really expensive pillbox, but maybe he thinks the time is worth it, and he's going to have barely enough time to really do anything. I believe Futurama is going to see this unit making its way down. And it's actually, he's not moving into the secondary natural expansion. He's moving further in, sort of doing some scouting around, looking at Futurama. Actually, if he can do that, if he can grab the Saboteur, that will be worth it. There is the buggy going to be able to support the Saboteur, but I do not think it matters. It does not. They're going to be taking it out quick and in a hurry. Master Leaf is going to lose those units. I don't believe he's going to be able to get a pillbox out in time. No, actually, I'm wrong. He just barely got his pillbox out. I know that's a super minor thing, but killing the engineer and setting up the pillbox sort of last minute is going to be super helpful for Master Leaf. He's got that infinite scouting once again over in between both bases, but it is gone just as quickly as it arrives as Futurama's forces begin to move their way in as those flame units take out the pillbox, which they're particularly great at doing. Gonna get our first little set of true engagement over here between all of the rocket squads, the Predators, and the APCs of Master Leaf and of Futurama. I think the favor is in Futurama over here. However, the crush is happening, and there are the Air Forces. Master Leaf collapses on that like a steel trap, taking out a good chunk of the units of his opponent. A little bit of damage dealt to Master Leaf, but that doesn't matter because there's more and more rocket squads, more and more man spam over here from Futurama. Master Leaf does do a little bit of spring cleaning while not protecting his natural, or his old main base over here. 4 Scorpion tanks were able to sneak their way into his base. Construction yard's gonna get the slap down over here. I'm not sure if why does he have a secondary construction yard? I actually have no idea why Master Leaf built a secondary construction yard. Maybe he's trying to do something cheeky. I'm not sure, but if he's not careful, he's gonna lose the secondary natural expansion, especially if Futurama has time to build up forces inside that area. Bike and buggy combination for the Black Hand, bike and buggy for Futurama are continuing their poking around and continuing their scouting around, looking for a target, probably hoping to try and get a Harvester. And I believe they're going to meet with the Hammerheads here any moment. I'm actually not sure between all of the bikes who quite wins that. One free kill happens over by the Hammerheads. Hammerheads are starting to take out the defensive tower as the rocket bikes move their way in and deal a small amount of damage to these Hammerheads. Not enough to write home about, but it definitely was something, and it definitely saved the defensive tower of Futurama. Only one beginning to establish anything over on the secondary national expansion is Futurama. Master Leaf's a little bit behind when it comes to that. Building a secondary APC can do that. Maybe his goal was to move into, yep, that is the goal right there. His goal is to move into the natural expansion of his opponent, but I'm not sure he has the forces really for that to happen. There is our first Redeemer popping out. Not sure quite. There he is. There is the Redeemer for Futurama, sort of bulking up the forces that he already has here. That Rage Gen's going to make a difference. Marv is here. Marv Reclamator Hub is sold off as Master Leaf begins to move his way into the natural expansion, the secondary natural expansion of his opponent. Futurama, seeing what's on the way, begins to group his forces, moving everything here for an assault. This could be the end-all, be-all of this particular fight, and the forces for Master Leaf are actually looking a little bit anemic. Those Juggernauts will be helpful if they can get there in time. Watchtowers are out for Master Leaf, beginning a little bit of harassment, taking out these SAM turrets, moving targets over to the rocket squads as the rocket squads begin to lay down the hurt on this watchtower. Secondary watchtower is up, supported by this third one over here. Anti-air is out. The Mantises are out over here for Futurama, and the true assault has begun as all of this man spam has moved its way into the Marv. There is the decoy army there to suck up a lot of the damage. There is the block for the construction yard, but I'm not sure how much it's going to matter. Marv is going to move its way in, and it's not going to commit. It's not going to continue to move its way forward. But the important part is the construction yard for Master Leaf is getting taken out. This assault has sort of soured. This assault has sort of gone downhill a little bit, and there's still a lot of man spam. There's still a lot of bike and buggy, and most importantly, there is a not heroic unit. There is a legendary unit here. The Redeemer is still here, along with, there we go, there's the beam cannons. Futurama learning from Master Leaf and using those beam cannons to great effect. Mantis is getting their way, getting pushed out a little bit as more man spam moves its way over to the right, taking down another tower, moving its way into Master Leaf. Juggernauts are here, but I think it is too late between the beam cannons, between all of the man spam. Master Leaf is going to get pushed out of here. There's nothing he can do. He already lost 3,500 when it comes to that particular unit. And oh no, he's not paying attention. His harvesters are moving down in the secondary natural expansion of Futurama. Losing those is absolutely going to hurt, considering he hasn't been harvesting his secondary natural expansion at all. I'm not sure how much Master Leaf has left in the tank. Futurama is just pushing him out and is out-ecoing him when it comes to this. I don't have a fancy meter like Cybert, so I can't tell you for sure, but there's no way Master Leaf has more income than Futurama. Futurama already has plenty of things established. This Marv is absolutely getting wrecked, and it's going to get destroyed, and I believe that is Master Leaf's really last lifeline. There it goes. It's taken out. There is the Rage Gen by the Redeemer. Mantis has moved their way into their opponents, but I think this is the last little hurrah of Master Leaf. After he loses these forces, he's not going to have too much left of these Hammerheads. Move their way in. Redeemer is actually at half HP. All of these Zone Troopers just absolutely honing in on it. These Hammerheads are not finding the purchase that Master Leaf quite wants. He's not able to get the things that he's wanting to be able to get. A couple of picks here and there, and that's really been about it. Master Leaf finally, late into the game, has begun to establish his natural expansion, but he's down to Marv, he's down to MCV, he's down a good chunk of forces. I think the only thing he really has is these air units, but nothing a couple of SAM turrets and a couple of Mantises can't fix. Zone Troopers are popping their way into the Hammerheads. Hammerheads really could use a repair if they could get one, but I don't think Master Leaf has the time. Futurama beginning to posture, making his way over to the secondary natural expansion of his opponent, moving his bikes and buggies in first. A couple of the Hammerheads are going to do a nice drive-by, getting a couple of bikes. It's going to be really good for them, but they need to find more and more purchase, and unfortunately, one of the Hammerheads with Zone Troopers are in there are going to get popped out. There's a decoy army there to soak up some of the damage, and one of the Hammerheads was sort of left off by itself, missing the micro just probably by a hair. Bike and buggy moving their way in, getting a little bit of scouting, but they were just decoys. They're preparing and getting ready for the assault for Futurama, as Futurama is actually doing what Master Leaf was to him. moving his MCV in to start pressuring his natural expansion. Let's see if Futurama's any better at this push than Master Leaf was. I don't believe there's any heroic units here for the defense. There is an airfield healing the hammerheads, which can make a difference. However, there is a forward sand turret, which is going to make those hammerheads all but useless. Juggernauts could take them out, but I think they have more important targets like the Redeemer and maybe some of this man spam as it moves its way in. Plenty of watchtowers here in order to soak up some of the damage in order to kill a good chunk of this man spam. There is the Rage Shin once again. Not sure it was able to get too much as the assault continues, but I don't think Master Leaf has what it takes in order to start this defense, in order to win this defense. The forces of Futurama are just too numerous, too all over the place, and Master Leaf needs this money. He's got to be hurting for cash extremely bad. War Factory goes down with a refinery here soon to follow. Plenty of watchtowers still doing lots of damage. Juggernaut's dealing lots of damage. There's a sell-off of the air factory. Master Leaf trying to save what money he can, maybe try to get a couple of more watchtowers out to fight this and to deal with this. Juggernaut is finally under pressure. Is going to start taking damage from all of these units. Zone troopers and hammerheads with AP ammo are going to do a good chunk of damage to the Redeemers, but I think it's going to be too little too late. However, it does look like Futurama is losing just a little bit of gas, but he may also just be spending time to regroup his forces and move his way in. He's moving his MCV up to sort of get some more probably forward defenses, I would suspect, and Master Leaf has just got to be absolutely hurting for cash. He's down to one refinery on his natural expansion, and he's almost halfway eaten what is already there, while Futurama on the other side only has probably a third, maybe a fourth left of his money, and I think he's lost a lot less forces and at least a lot less expensive units. Not losing his legendary unit can make a pretty big difference. Juggernaut moving its way over here. Zone Troopers moving their way in to begin the assault. There is the Rage Shin once again by the Redeemer as it gets a couple of kills, but the Zone Troopers just are not enough to do anything. There it is. Master Leaf actually throws in the towel. We don't get to see Master Leaf on his back foot very often, but Futurama is showing match after match that he can go toe-to-toe with Master Leaf, and he's very much so doing that. Pretty exciting game there, Commander. I will see you in the next one. In match 4, round 4 on the map, Tiberium Rift. Master Leaf has held on to his blue, but has moved to Black Hand. He found great purchase in that, and I think he's going to try it again. And we actually have a mirror match because his opponent, Cyan, Futurama, has also gone Black Hand. So we get to see Black Hand versus Black Hand of two very unique players when it comes to their combination. One item of note, I don't know if there was just a little bit of delay, but Master Leaf was just a little bit slow when it comes to this match. When it comes to placing down his units, for quite some time he did not pop down his refinery or a couple other units. I'm not sure if that was a lag sort of thing, or if he wasn't paying attention, or if maybe there was a strategy behind it in order to get things out quicker. It will have a small impact early on that might grow exponentially, but I don't know how much money he could have gained or lost in those particular moments. Bikes and infantry have begun their scouting. They are each pestering the prospective MCVs of their opponents, noticing that the each one has moved on, or starting to move on, to their secondary natural expansion. Confessor Cabal squads here at the secondary natural expansion of Master Leaf to catch it and see it's on its way, so he can understand timing for his opponent. All about scouting, all about harassment, and that is exactly what they are doing. Confessor Cabal squad's going to get taken out over here by this Raider buggy. Futurama's going to lose his scout, but he got what he wanted. And actually, Futurama's got a couple of bikes out already. Are we going to get some bike-buggy combination? I really hope so. I love to see it from the Black Hand faction. It's always good for a good back and forward. And it looks like it's probably going to be mirrored over here by Master Leaf. Master Leaf, seeing that Futurama really favored the bike and buggy, at least in his last couple of matches and games outside of this, is probably going to do his best to match that. One buggy does scout off over to the north. Going to do some poking around and seeing what is over there. Going to see how the secondary natural expansion of his opponent is set up. And Master Leaf actually hasn't deployed his construction yard just yet. I say that as soon as he does, but he is moving into his secondary natural expansion a bit behind Futurama. Bike and Buggy are moving their way into the natural expansion, or into the old main base of their opponent. One Scorpion tank is here, and it's going to be able to get some damage done, but the Bikes are focusing on this Harvester. The dance has begun. Can the Harvester make it out in time? I'm not sure it quite matters, because this is not going to give Master Leaf the gains that he wants, and unfortunately, he's not going to get the Harvester as all. He's going to lose all of his Bike and Buggy and not get anything. We did get a little bit of body blocking from a Secret Shine, which we don't get to see too much, but it's probably all Futurama had in his queue, in his build order. Bike and Buggy not going to be good into the Scorpions whatsoever. Their only chance is to run past them or try to take pot shots where they can. Good chunk of Bikes moving their way in, looking for that target, looking for that purchase, but the Scorpion tanks are still here to mount them up, to take them out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They are finally going to get one Harvester, but losing all of those Bikes and Buggies, I'm not sure is worth that one Harvester. They might be able to get a second one over here, which would delay Futurama just a little bit. Master Leaf finding a little bit of a better purchase as the assault goes on, but I think he committed probably just a little bit too heavy. Once again, easy to say from the casting chair, harder to implement when you're actually playing the game. Futurama moving his way over into the main base, probably the secondary natural expansion of his opponent. These Confessor Cabal squads are here in order to get some scouting, so Futurama does have eyeballs on Master Leaf's secondary natural expansion, so he is going to know what's there. Forces for Master Leaf are looking a little bit anemic after losing all of those Bikes and Buggies, and that's going to be a little bit of a problem as these forces move their way in. Rocket Squad's killing the garrison units over here, along with the couple of flame units from the Black Hand. Black Hand Squad's moving their way into the Shredder turrets, and the Shredder turret does exactly what it says on the 10, and they're absolutely getting shredded. That anti-infantry truly has exactly what you would expect it to have. Rocket Squad's going into the garrison structure, providing a little bit of defense, taking what kills they can, taking out that Tiberium spike, and it does appear that they were able to get it there in the end. Master Leaf having a little bit of poor, maybe macro there, losing a couple of units. Flame Tank out and moving its way forward to wipe out a couple of these units. Isn't going to be able to deal enough damage in time. Needs to take out all of these Rocket Squads. Secondary Flame Tank is here as well. They're there. They're going to be able to take it out. Let's see if Master Leaf can turn things around once again with these Flame Tanks. He did do a great job with them before, and I'm honestly quite curious how they play into each other. Scorpion versus Scorpion over here in the south, but Master Leaf has Defender's advantage, and Master Leaf has more Scorpions, so he's going to win that. However, the Rocket Squads are here, and they are moving their way in, and that could be the answer to taking out these Scorpions, and that does appear to be the case after Scorpion to Scorpion drops left and right. Flame Tank is going to take out one of the Harvesters of Futurama. It looks like Master Leaf is going to be pretty decent at taking out the Harvesters of his opponent, but it is now Futurama's time. Futurama is getting a bit of revenge over here, killing almost a full load of Tiberium for his opponent, for Master Leaf. Getting a little bit of a do-si-do with the Flame Tank over here as the secondary Flame Tank moves its way in. Master Leaf still proving how good he is at look over here and baiting you into here and there. And Master Leaf seems to have found a decent combination to dealing with the forces of Futurama, keeping Futurama on his back foot, sort of turning these fights around slowly but surely, making a couple of mistakes, definitely showing that he's not as practiced as he normally is for these events. It was kind of sprung on him last minute, but he's still holding his own. He's still doing quite well and slowly warming up over time. Couple of Confessor squads are going to get caught over here by the Flame Tanks, and they're going to get killed rather quick and unceremoniously. I'm not sure Futurama has much that he can do over there. Confessor Cabal squads is going to see this line of infantry by Futurama as minor skirmishes continue over here on the south. And actually, we have an obelisk over here because actually Futurama has moved his MCV all the way over to his opponent and has slapped out an obelisk inside Master Leaf's base. This is something we saw Bart Jones do time and time again to Cyberstorm, was he would pop up these bases inside, controlling the natural expansions of his opponent. But Futurama has sort of won up the game here and has had obelisks queued and ready to go. Master Leaf's forces are finally getting whittled down over here as Flame Tank after Flame Tank gets taken out. He does win the Scorpion fight, moving their way in to take out a couple more Scorpions. He does have that advantage, but the negative thing for Master Leaf is that somebody is at his natural expansion, that Futurama is at his natural expansion, and he's going to be pretty hard to de-lodge with those obelisks there. Good chunk of Scorpions, good chunk of armor moving over here on the northern side of the map as Master Leaf elects to go for this natural expansion of his opponent, sort of doing what Futurama wanted, delaying his build order just a little bit more. But Master Leaf is not going to take this lying down. He's still continuing to build his forces up, and we might actually get a pretty good engagement over here in a moment if these Scorpion tanks can soak up enough damage to get close enough to all of these infantry. It can make a massive difference, but there's a lot of rocket squads if Futurama begins to move their way in, and maybe he's waiting and trying to bait his opponent in. Couple of flame tanks over here going to be able to support all of these Scorpion tanks. The Scorpion tanks move their way forward. Maybe the Scorpion tanks are just here to soak up damage so the flame tanks can mop up kills. That could be the case. There are at least 3 flame tanks here, maybe 4, but the forces for all of these Scorpions are finally getting mopped up for Futurama, or for Master Leaf. But it is still back and forward. It is still just about anyone's game. There's this third obelisk sort of on the expansion. It looks like this base race has continued as Futurama now moves into the other secondary natural expansion, his natural secondary natural expansion. Yeah, and there is another MCV right there. So you must have built a second MCV in order to push his way into push his way into Master Leaf. That is something I see Master Leaf do quite often, which is the secondary MCV. And oh no, this highly ranked up Flame Tank is probably going to get taken out by these Rocket Squads sort of unceremoniously. It's in a bad spot. Scorpion tanks are going to be able to make their way over to it, and I'm not sure Master Leaf has the answer to all of these tanks and to all of these forces on his front door, especially considering he has not been able to harvest the same way as the opponent. There's the Shredder turrets. It's going to be able to help just a little bit, but this is still really anyone's game, I think, though. However, it is in Futurama's favor. Futurama keeps popping down obelisks, moving his way closer and closer to his opponent's base, and most importantly, stopping his opponent from harvesting what he can, where he can. Flame tank after flame tank gets absolutely eviscerated, and there is the towel that is thrown in by Master Leaf. Master Leaf calls it GG and gives another round to Futurama. If Master Leaf is not careful, he could end up in serious trouble. Master Leaf is getting some great gains on him. Let's see if it continues in the next match. Here we are on Hampstead Gardens. Welcome to the 5th match of the series between Master Leaf and, I was about to say Cyberstorm, and Futurama. Speaking of Futurama, Futurama over here in the bottom side of the map, holding on to his cyan, holding on to his black hand, and Master Leaf still keeping his blue, but moving on to GDI, not liking the mirror match previously, so going to try his hand at GDI, maybe trying to mix things up with some APCs. He's going to have to find a solution to deal with the man spam and deal with all the transitions that we've seen so far from Black Hand, and it's not really too often I get to see GDI on their back foot like we have been seeing so far in this series, not just this particular game. So I think that's kind of nice. I'm not sure how different the patch notes are. I do believe Master Leaf said at one point he was not going to do too many more changes, that he just wanted to sort of play and then wanted the patch to sort of like maintain itself. Not a bad strategy. He did fix I think the vast majority of the bugs in the game. I'm not sure if he did all of this solo, but I do know that he's put in a massive amount of work in order to keep Kane's Wrath I'm not gonna say relevant, but I will say playable and enjoyable for those who do enjoy it, of course with some ups and downs. Scouting is continued over here by Master Leaf as he pokes his way into his opponent's base. Not seeing the natural expansion just yet. I say that, and there is a Pitbull seeing that natural expansion has been moved into by his opponent. Master Leaf just a little bit behind Futurama on the setup of his build order on his eco. Confessor's going to push this Pitbull out, but its entire purpose is just to get a little bit of scouting over here. Futurama sort of returning the favor over here with a buggy. Gonna look at his secondary, look at his opponent's natural expansion and see where he's developed. Neither person have set up a refinery just quite yet, and they have both scouted each other out quite thoroughly. Master Leaf is going to know that it does not look like Futurama is up to anything real sneaky, at least as of right now. First Watchtower is out here in order to wipe out this Raider buggy. Not a bad strategy, because given enough time, it could eventually take out that Harvester, and that does appear to be what Master Leaf's goal is to push that unit out. Secondary Watchtower, as the first one sells, second one sells, and he's probably going to use those units in order to get some scouting. I'm really curious what's going through Master Leaf's head. Not that he's not doing anything in particular that's wrong or right. I just mean as far as the transition, he hasn't sort of found the right key, the right set of units to run into all of the man spam, all of this black hand that he's had such a hard time dealing with. He has gone sort of the traditional strategy of these pit bulls, and they're poking around and sharking for what they can find, but I'm not sure what they're going to be able to do in the grand scheme of things. One pit bull does sort of get caught out, but it's not going to be able to, enough to write home about, as more and more pit bulls beginning to gather upon the secondary and first natural expansion of his opponent. Let's see if Master Leaf can find a little bit more purchase as he moves his way in here with all these pit bulls versus the bikes and versus a couple of investor squads. He does outnumber them, and he is in a better spot, but they are going to start taking some damage. Master Leaf, not wanting to take any risks, has backed his forces out into one of the foxholes. I think maybe his goal was to set up on the secondary natural expansion, and that does appear to be the case. Confessor Cabal squads are going to start taking out Master Leaf's pit bulls over here slowly but surely. But there is a pit bull, or there is a foxhole over here going to be able to mop up some of the damage of his opponent. Secondary set of rifleman squads are going to notice that Futurama is moving into the secondary national expansion of his opponent as Master Leaf turns his pit bulls around. But once again, I'm not really sure what the pit bulls are really going to be able to do here. He's got pit bulls, he's got watchtowers, he's got these predator tanks. I'm not sure what the play is here. Futurama just sort of keeps pushing out this man spam while Master Leaf sort of spends time looking for a hole in Futurama's army, Futurama's defenses with these pit bulls. Pit bulls are going to finally run into something they actually want to chew on, which is the bike buggy combination of Futurama, but that does mean on top of everything else, they do have all of this man spam, they do have all of this bike and buggy now, and probably going to transition into something else here in a moment. Master Leaf is going Predators and Hammerheads with AP ammo. He's already got the AP ammo that could make a big difference. He skipped the APCs this time around, not finding the purchases that he wants, hoping that these Hammerheads were going to do a bit more as he begins to poke and look around for another target once again. I'm not sure if his pit bulls were able to find anything that they wanted. Hammerheads moving their way, breaking off, trying to pick off some of these infantry, and they're going to get a good couple of hits off. That is going to be great every time he gets a chance to whittle down these forces. He is going to do it. Pit bulls did move to the north. Hammerheads so far are uncontested for the most part, but I say that, but as soon as the SAM turrets pop up and the Predator tanks move in, if the Predator tanks can start dealing damage to these SAM turrets, the Hammerheads can continue their assault. SAM turret after SAM turret gets taken out left and right. Almost the main hub is almost completely taken out. It's half HP as the Hammerheads are uncontested, and a secondary SAM turret is here in order to push those Hammerheads out, giving more and more time to the defense of Futurama. Futurama sort of coming out on top of this SAM turret after SAM turret, and it's now going to be impossible to move those Hammerheads in and get some decent shot. Couple of rocket squads are doing a little bit of harassment to their opponents. SAM turrets still keeping these Hammerheads on their back foot. Couple of these bike and buggies were taken out by the Hammerheads. A couple of them were taken out by the Predator tanks. Hammerheads still sharking their way around, looking for little bits of kills here and there, taking out the rocket squads, taking out the infantry of his opponent with that AP ammo. Finding amazing purchase, but still the defenses of Futurama are absolutely on the spot. They're absolutely where they need to be. More SAM turrets out, sort of catching these Hammerheads in an unfortunate position. There are 3 SAM turrets over there that's going to do a good chunk of damage after Hammerhead gets taken down, and they move into more and more SAM turrets, just running into infantry and SAM turrets and rockets, and they're absolutely taken out. There goes the Air Force for Master Leaf. That's a healthy chunk of money. Master Leaf defending his secondary natural expansion, dealing a little bit of damage to these SAM turrets where he can, but I'm not sure how much that's going to matter. I think that what's going to be more important is taking out these forces, but it does not matter because there are the Shredder turrets taking out the infantry of Master Leaf. Master Leaf has got to be slowing down, once again running out of gas in his tank. Futurama has just been absolutely on top of his defense, and most importantly, absolutely on top of Master Leaf. Every time Master Leaf has gone somewhere, there has been Futurama there to match, absolutely mirroring and setting up these defenses left and right with all these SAM turrets and all of these units. And there are a staggering amount of watchtowers out here, and there's the one click. There is the non-ability, the decoy army here to soak up some of the damage from these watchtowers, and that's exactly what they're going to do as more and more forces for Futurama begin to make their way in to try to take out some of these watchtowers. And there is the obelisk finding an amazing purchase. Oh no, finding a Juggernaut right when it needs to, taking that Juggernaut as soon as it gets out on the map. There's the EMP blast over there. It looks like Futurama did grab the EMP in the center. Not something we see too often, but he has control of a good portion of the map, and I think things are done for Master Leaf. I'm not sure what he's going to be able to get done. There are the flame tanks beginning to move their way in, taking out the war factory, taking out the structures of his opponent, and still nothing has been able to deal with this obelisk that is on the secondary natural expansion of Master Leaf, on Master Leaf's lifeline. Harvester after Harvester gets taken down. T3 is under threat. Unit after unit is taken out, and the Obelisk of Light and Flame Tank are finally taken down, but at what cost? So much damage was dealt to Master Leaf. There is the one click. There's the radar for the Juggernaut, so they're going to be able to see that from a long way away. Flame Tank moving its way into the Juggernaut. Juggernaut's moving forward, and they're going to be able to get the crush just in time, and they still have full HP. Hanging onto the Juggernauts can make a massive difference. Flame Tank moving its way into the Juggernaut, and I think the Juggernaut might actually be able to crush it, but I'm not sure Master Leaf is paying attention. Master Leaf is going to have a Flame Tank here any moment inside of his old main base. Juggernaut confused on where it's going to go, confused on what it's going to be able to take out, but I'm not sure it's going to matter because this base is going to get absolutely decimated. But oh no, the War Factory actually just barely makes it from the Flame Tank. MCV Futurama is being attacked. This construction yard is being taken down left and right. There are too many Juggernauts here out on the field. We get our first set of Hammerheads are moving their way back as the Flame Tank moves its way into his opponent's base, moves its way into Master Leaf's base, gets taken out. And that is the first good gain I've seen so far from Master Leaf, being able to take out that MCV. Not sure how much it's going to help. Low power mode happening because of the Flame Tanks destroying the back infrastructure of Master Leaf, destroying building after building left and right. The important part, though, is Master Leaf's natural expansion is cleared up. I'm not sure if he has a MCV left. That does not appear to be the case. It did look like it got cleaned up. No, actually there it is. He does have an MCV left, and he's building a couple of things in it. EMP control tower is finally getting taken out. Futurama is no longer going to have that for the assault, but I think the damage was already dealt with it. Juggernaut in a bad position, getting take out sort of the remainder over here, and I'm not sure what these rocket bikes are doing. That's an almost free Juggernaut. Maybe they're just waiting for the Flame Tank to do what it needs to do, but once again, Master Leaf gets another crush right before the Juggernaut gets taken out. The old main base of Master Leaf is absolutely decimated. There's nothing left of it except for one lonely power plant and one harvester, which are going to be killed just as unceremoniously as the rest of them. Hammerhead's finally moving their way in, getting a couple of good purchases over here. Master Leaf finally beginning to mop things up and deal a little bit better than he was before, but he doesn't have an answer to these flame tanks that constantly sit on his backline, that constantly sit right behind him, taking out more and more of his infrastructure. He's going to run out of infrastructure, and it looks like he said, to hell with infrastructure, I'm just going to build a Marv and suck up what resources I can. Not a bad strategy. It should be about halfway before really anything makes its way over there. However, it looks like, sensing that, Futurama has gotten his Redeemer. Yep, there it is. There's the sell-off of the facility, and there is the equipment of the units inside of the Redeemer. Marv's about 75% for Master Leaf. That can make a difference for him, but he is behind on economy, and most importantly, he is behind on infrastructure. Hammerheads are going to be able to mop up a single flame tank, but I think they're going to get taken out on the way out. No? Or do we have tip car rockets on these bikes? If I can click. Yeah, they do appear to have the tip core missiles. I think I did see that. So they were able to take out a couple of them over there. lower power mode for a couple of the tech buildings for Master Leaf. Sell off of the Watchtower. Marv is up. Power is back. Things are looking a little bit better for Master Leaf, but unfortunately, as soon as things look better, Futurama begins to start amassing forces, a large number of forces, and Master Leaf, I do not think, is ready for this assault. His forces are not grouped. He is not ready to go. There is the one click. There is the decoy armor. You're going to get a scout, and Master Leaf's going to throw in the towel. He's going to see the writing on the wall. He's going to see all of those units for Futurama moving his way in, and Futurama is going to take yet another victory from Master Leaf. Let's see if Master Leaf can turn it around in the next one, Commander. I'll see you there. Here we are in match 6, round 6 between Master Leaf and Futurama on the map Tournament Stadium. Master Leaf is over here on our left, switching over to Traveler 59, and actually mirrored by Futurama, also playing Traveler 59. So it's a mirror match inside of Master Leaf's, what I believe is his best faction, what is his best play. So it's really going to be interesting how the mirror matches wraps up with Futurama. I'm curious to see where he decides to go blow for blow against his opponent, and it looks like we're getting a bit of a descent rush over here by Futurama. Buzzer squads are out. If they catch those descents in a bad spot, that's not going to be particularly great for them. I did learn how the damage for descents work in Command and Conquer, and it's quite interesting. They technically have sniper damage, like that's how they deal their damage, but the damage, they have to be so close in order to use it, which is why you see buzzer squads just kill infantry after infantry, especially once they get close, because they deal the same amount of damage as the sniper, or they do specifically sniper damage, which I believe is some sort of critical damage when it comes specifically to infantry. Descent squads are beginning to move their way in. Master Leaf looking for something cheeky. If he can take out an extractor, if he can take out this gunwalker, there is the buzzer hive swarm, and it's going to get taken out just as quickly as it is arrived, along with a gunwalker. Yep, there he goes. Gunwalker is down as the descent squads are uncontested, moving their way inside of Futurama's base, taking out a harvester, hopefully taking out a secondary harvester. If they can kill a second harvester, they can get a good amount of purchase, especially because that harvester has a full load of Tiberium. They are still going for it, playing Ring Around the Rosies, trying to take it out, and there it is. They're going to be able to get it. Master Leaf fighting an amazing purchase in his disintegrator squads. Futurama just wasn't quite ready for it. He did have the buzzer hive and he did have all the gunwalkers, but it didn't matter. Master Leaf knows this faction. Master Leaf is comfortable with his disintegrators, and it shows. He was able to get a great, amazing set of kills there, killing a harvester, killing a structure, and most importantly, like killing that structure super early on, or not structure, I'm sorry, killing those harvesters early on is going to have an impact on a map like Tournament Stadium. Tournament Stadium is also one of those ones that's, I won't say nostalgic for me, but I do really enjoy seeing it time and time again for me. It is one of the first casts I ever did was on Tournament Stadium, so it kind of holds a special place in my heart. I don't know what the players particularly think about it. Good boy Gunwalker is going to move his way forward, pushing these disintegrators out, keeping them away from the base, doing his best in order to push these units out, and most importantly, getting a reverse move out before the disintegrators get any sort of damage out. Master Leaf is trying to find some more purchases with these disintegrators, hopefully trying to get a little bit more damage where he can. Disintegrators are moving to the natural expansion of Futurama. They both seem to be developing pretty close to a similar time frame. I'm assuming we're going to get, yep, there's a Gunwalker right there moving its way in, and I believe a defense tower queued up and ready to go for Futurama. Master Leaf's natural expansion is developing quite nicely. Buzzer squad over here. Gunwalker gonna wipe up the buzzer squads of his opponent, but it doesn't matter because Futurama just wanted to get a little bit of scouting down. Stasis Chamber is here and has already queued something up. I'm not sure if we have fast legs by anyone just quite yet. It does look like we did get fast legs early on. Maybe I missed that. Maybe that was a super early upgrade for these disintegrators for Master Leaf. Getting those fast legs early on. Let me guess. I'm pretty sure that those are the fast legs. I could be quoting the wrong particular thing. We're going to get a Descent versus Descent fight over here, and Master Leaf does not have the forces for it. He doesn't have the Disintegrators, and his Disintegrators are going to get disintegrated. Gee whiz. As Futurama is now uncontested in the southern section of the map, moving his way further into Master Leaf's base, but there are plenty of Gunwalkers here to wipe them up. I am really wanting to know what the transitions are going to be. Gunwalkers do seem to be the name of the game. I'm not sure where those descents went. They're there. Looks like the descents for Futuramas do finally have the upgrade and are starting to move their way across the map. They saw the Gunwalkers, or sensed the Gunwalkers. I'm not sure if Futurama actually saw the Gunwalkers and moving his way over into the north, maybe where things are a little bit less contested. Gunwalker versus Gunwalker is going to happen while these descents make their way in, and actually the Disintegrators are going to get caught over here by these Gunwalkers. There's only 2 here right now, a couple of reinforcements, but actually no, those were Futuramas, or those were Master Leaf's Disintegrators. It looks like Buster Squad's actually killed the Disintegrators of Futurama over in the north. Between these mirror matches, sometimes it's hard to see the difference between these 2 units. Disintegrators moving their way in against, and it's going to be Disintegrators versus Disintegrators, but Master Leaf has the advantage because he has all of these Buzzer Squads, which are going to be able to wrap up and get a good chunk of damage, and there they are. Master Leaf is now uncontested in the center of the map and has all of that blue Tiberium to himself as he begins to continue more and more small assaults into Futurama's base, beginning to probe him, poke him, looking for where to send his forces, as his forces now begin to move his way in. But if he's not careful, he's going to get caught by these Gunwalkers right here. The Descent's moving their way and trying to take out these Gunwalkers. It's going to be a good call. Hopefully these Buzzer Squads can get in and start dealing some damage, but I do not think they get the sniper damage that they need to on units like Gunwalkers. That does not appear to be the case, but I do think that Master Leaf comes out ahead on this as more and more units begin to group as the fight goes on, and Gunwalkers move their way forward. Disintegrators moving in to kill the Gunwalkers of Futurama. Futurama is still here with his own Disintegrators, with his own Buzzer Hive, and a couple of Gunwalkers. Gunwalkers moving in and trying to take out these Disintegrators as best they can, as they get taken out by Disintegrator after Disintegrator. But it looks like Futurama has staved off Master Leaf, has pushed him back, has pushed him out of this assault. And here we go with the second phase of this, where it's Gunwalker versus Gunwalker. Not the most exciting match, but it is going to be a good chunk of damage, and it might be what they want. It might be a couple of these units moving here. Cultists are going to start taking over some of the Gunwalkers of his opponent, forcing Futurama to either move his way into the Cultists, which he is doing with his Gunwalkers, or kill his own units. It does look like he elected to kill his own units and sort of push out those units as well. More and more Gunwalkers here by Master Leaf. Master Leaf killing the Cultists of his opponent, saying only I am allowed to do that. And more of these Cultists have seemed to, for Futurama, have seemed to grab Master Leaf's units, and will probably start using them here in a minute. We're going to get a lot of Cultist swapping here back and forward. Mechapede in an unfortunate position, getting taken out by Disintegrators as soon as it is spawned. That is going to be an expensive mistake for Master Leaf. Master Leaf has decided that that is going to be his transition into these Mechapedes. Good chunk of the Gunwalkers taken over by Cultist squads, and Master Leaf is finally outnumbered on his Gunwalkers as he moves his way forward, trying to take out more and more of these Cultist squads. Not able to get the kills and purchases that he wants, but it doesn't matter because he was just buying time until the Mechapedes move their way in, as Master Leaf has a staggering amount of Mechapedes, and they're beginning to mop up these Gunwalkers. The important part will be if they don't get taken over by the Cultists. There it is. The Cultists have taken over the first Mechapede, and it looks like there's a couple of more forces over here in the south, but Master Leaf is coming out ahead with these Mechapedes. He needs to move his way in and kill more and more of these Cultist squads. Those are going to be his biggest threat, and I think things are starting to look well. There's the first one click, sort of isolating a good chunk of these troops, but it doesn't matter because Mechapede after Mechapede gets taken over, turning the forces of Master Leaf against himself. The Cultists seem to be the name of the game against these Mechapedes and Gunwalkers, being used to great effect by Futurama, sort of turning things on its head. I don't get to see this many Cultists, and I don't get to see this many Cultists work effectively. They do appear to be doing that. Microing is here for both players, for both of their Mechapedes, but there are very few Mechapedes left for Futurama, even though they are, Master Leaf's units. Cultists are going to move their way up, but I think they are in a bad position. It looks like they're going to be able to get crushed by a couple of these Gunwalkers, and if Master Leaf can just kill these cultists, he can start winning this fight. He can start using his Mechapedes to mop up the Gunwalkers and move his way in, and he is slowly whittling down the forces of his opponent slowly over a time. He is killing Futurama's units left and right, but it is going to be a slow burn. It is still very much so anyone's game. This could still go either way. A couple more cultists are going to get taken out. It looks like a little bit of a misclick over there as the Mechapedes move their way back in, as the Gunwalkers move their way back in, and this back and forward is not going to stop until one of these forces is taken out. Cultists moving over to the right, cultists moving back to the center, looking for a Mechapede, maybe looking for a Gunwalker in order for them to grab, while Master Leaf gets the blue Tiberium here in the center as much as he can. Secondary natural expansions are developed quite nicely. Cultists are in sort of a bad spot over here on the field, and if he can just get close enough, if Master Leaf can just get to those cultists, he can start winning this fight. Another set of Mechapedes are going to get taken out, but it doesn't matter if the cultists are dead as the Mechapedes move their way in, killing cultist after cultist. Gunwalkers are continuing the assault as these Mechapedes continue to mop up Gunwalker after Gunwalker. Mechapede finally showing its superiority, taking a long time to take out Futurama, but now Master Leaf is on the front doorstep of Futurama. I think this is Master Leaf's game to lose. He does appear to be on top of this, but however, there are the cultists as they move their way in, taking over a Gunwalker, taking over a secondary Gunwalker, but the Gunwalkers that keep dying, keep killing the cultists in the background, regaining the forces of their opponents. Master Leaf has turned his butt and moved his descents in, and there is the GG. Master Leaf able to pull one over on Futurama, showing that he is the superior Traveler 59 player. Those cultists were definitely an interesting mix-up, and where they were keeping Master Leaf sort of on his back foot, sort of using some tactics that he's not used to in the level, you know, with the map having all of these particularly tight corners, so the cultists can move their way in, take over a Mechapede, and move their way back. Is this a comeback for Master Leaf? Let's find out in game number 7, Commander. I'll see you there. Welcome to match 7, round 7 between Master Leaf and Futurama. We are now on the map Twilight City. Over in the top right, keeping his blue, keeping his Traveler 59, we still have Master Leaf. Keeping the mirror, keeping his color. Futurama has taken his Scion and his Cyan and has also moved on to Traveler 59, or stayed with Traveler 59. Thinking that maybe he can find a little bit of a better purchase. Master Leaf popping out his Disintegrators once again, looking for the purchases that he found the last time. Hopefully he's able to get some gains this time around. He could use a couple of wins under his belt, but the important part is Futurama is going to see this coming. He's also going to know that he just got done experiencing this particular match, experiencing this particular set of units, and there are the Gunwalkers to start dealing with the descents moving their way already to the Tiberium Spike. Gunwalker moving its way in, but he is going to be isolated with these fast legs. They could make a difference, and actually a little bit of a gang up of these Buzzer Squads and Gunwalkers, but it's not going to be enough to trip up Master Leaf. Master Leaf still has these Disintegrators raring to go with the upgrades. Still going to continue poking around. However, Futurama was able to keep the Disintegrators off his base, which is ultimately what he wants. He wants to keep Master Leaf from making the advantages that he wants. And there is the first tower. There is the Buzzer Hive by their opponents as more and more Buzzers begin to move their way back, preparing for a fight with these Disintegrators. Master Leaf still not finding the purchase that he wanted, especially not what he wanted, especially not what he got in the previous game. He's still continuing to shark around, and something I've noticed more and more from Futurama is Futurama really has the defense game down to a T. He's very, very good at preparing and dealing with these aggressors. It's probably from the large plethora of players he's fought time and time again who are these particularly aggressive players. Because if I remember correctly too, he's also fought Bike Rush a good chunk, and Bike Rush is a particularly aggressive player most of the time. I believe he also faces up against Bart Jones, who's also a very aggressive player, and of course Master Leaf, who I think is probably less aggressive out of those three and more, I would say, cheeky when it comes to his strategy. Not that his stuff doesn't work, but he always likes to subvert expectations. He always likes to do things just a little bit weird. Not that he's doing anything weird with the Descent upgrade and sort of capitalizing on that and moving into Mechapedes, but he has been known to use rigs and, you know, a couple other flying units that should be flying, and just a couple of wacky things here and there. And I don't know, I'm always a big fan to see it. And like I said before, Futurama is more solid in his strategies. He sticks to closer to like meta and solid defense, and just everything he does just feels solid, for lack of, I don't know, a better phrasing. Since they're going to move their way in, killing this Buzzer Squad, moving in to kill this Harvester, killing a Harvester filled with Tiberian. There it is. Master Leaf finally got the purchase that he wanted, finally got the kills that he wanted, but can he make his units out? Can his units make it out in time as a secondary group of Descents move their way in? He's continuing his assault, continuing his aggression on Futurama. Futurama has to pick 1 or 2 to defend as he loses a Gunwalker in the north, and Master Leaf is not done. He's poking in the north, he's poking in the south. His disintegrators are moving into the old main base of Futurama, but there's still a good chunk of blue Tiberium there. But there is the Buzzer Hive, there are Gunwalkers here, and they are going to be able to push Master Leaf out. Master Leaf starting to whittle down and lose a couple more forces on these assaults. Master Leaf is very much the beach, or very much the ocean, trying to erode the beach here when it comes to the defense of Futurama. And sometimes the beach wins, sometimes the ocean wins, but it really just is a matter of time to see who wins what. I think you're missing, Master Leaf. Yeah, no, you're not hitting that Tiberian spike at all. I think he aimed for like just off to the side. Descent's moving over here in the center of the map, taking out a couple of these Gunwalkers, getting a couple of good kills as Futurama moves his way into the north and defends his base, losing 2 Gunwalkers. Master Leaf loses a Gunwalker inside the base of Futurama. Descent's still poking around, looking to see what they can see and kill what they can kill. And yeah, actually that's Master Leaf's Buzzer Squad raring to go. Master Leaf sort of snaking his way around, maybe looking for a Harvester, looking for a soft target in order for these Descents, hopefully a stationary target, in order for the Descents to start taking out. They have moved their way into the secondary natural expansion of the opponent, but there are 3 Buzzer Hive squads here, but one gets sold off because the low power mode happens just as quickly as the Descents move their way in. The Gunwalkers are going to continue the defense, absolutely wiping out the forces of Master Leaf. Master Leaf not able to find the purchase that he wants. Master Leaf finally able to hit the broadside of a barn, finally able to hit this Tiberium spike that he missed very unceremoniously earlier. Master Leaf not done with his assault, continuing on the main base of his opponents, but he is going to be outnumbered by a lot of these Gunwalkers, and he's going to get sandwiched over by the forces of Futurama. A good chunk of the disintegrators for Futurama are going to get taken out, but it is too little too late. The forces for Master Leaf are all but dead. These Gunwalkers are all but dead over here. Futurama's going to try and get a little bit of a revenge, and he's not actually paying attention as Master Leaf mops up a good chunk of these disintegrators with the Buzzer Squads, but the damage is done. They were able to get the Tiberium spike of his opponent. They were able to get the Tiberium spike of Master Leaf. Master Leaf has a couple of more Gunwalkers over here inside of Futurama's base, sort of fighting a backwards retreat, fighting a fighting retreat, I guess would be the more proper term of saying that. Disintegrators have moved their way into the, what is that, the secondary natural, oh, no, the old main base, I'm sorry, of Master Leaf, taking out, no, actually not getting the Harvester. Harvester just barely managed to make it out. The Mechapede and a couple of other units were able to help out, and the Gunwalkers are going to push their way into this Mechapede. This Mechapede's not going to find really any purchases that it wants right now. It's continuing to dance, protecting its head, going back and forward, waiting for other Mechapedes, waiting for other Gunwalkers. So Master Leaf can continue this aggression, can continue this assault on top of Master Leaf. I think the whole idea with Master Leaf this time around is just to keep the pressure up. Couple of Gunwalkers get caught in a rather precarious situation as they get taken out by the Mechapedes over there, but Master Leaf is not paying attention as his Gunwalkers walk into the forces of Futurama and losing 4 or 5 Gunwalkers almost for free. I'm not sure Futurama lost really anything. Futurama has transitioned into Mechapedes. He's not going for his cultists like he did previously. Probably not a bad strategy since there's not a lot of line of sight areas where you could run the cultists behind, like with the tournament stadium from before. I say that, and there are cultists. Why does every player want to make me a liar? As soon as I'm like, oh, hey, they're not going to do this, that would be silly, and they do that thing, and they also prove me wrong, too, of how it wasn't silly, but I guess that's just sort of Kane's wrath for us. Mechapedes for Master Leaf are backed up by Eradicator Hexapod. I do not believe we get an audio cue. Maybe there's a loud screeching I missed, but I'm pretty deaf to the screeching. There is the first one click by Futurama, catching, looks like 3, maybe 4 of the Mechapedes of his opponent. Eradicator Hexapod is going to be over here for the defense, starting to try to wrap up some of the kills he can on his opponent, killing Gunwalker kill after Gunwalker, and most importantly, getting himself some income from those kills. Lots of cultists, lots of disintegrators, lots of mechapedes here for Futurama. He's going to need them all for this assault because there's an Eradicator Hexapod on his front line and a one-click on the mechapedes. Mechapedes has stasis field. I'm not sure why Master Leaf wasn't moving them in. Maybe it was just he missed the micro, but he lost the last little bit of a timer on those particular units. Gunwalkers and Eradicator Hexapod are moving up, taking out the Mechapede after Mechapede of Futurama, and the majority of Futurama's forces are getting wiped out here. This might be another victory for Master Leaf as cultists get taken out, and Master Leaf is on the front doorstep of Futurama. There it is. Futurama throws in the towel, giving a win to Master Leaf. Is this his comeback? Is he gonna win this series? We'll get to see in the next one. Either way, Commander, in match 8, round 8 of Group B. I'll see you there. Commander in match 8, round 8. On the map, Battle Base, was it Beaverton? Yeah, Battle Base Beaverton. Not a map I'm familiar with whatsoever. I don't think I have ever casted this particular map, and I don't think I've actually ever seen this particular map. I don't know if it's a new one or if it's just one that doesn't get played too often. I don't even remember seeing it in the map pool, but maybe it was there and I just didn't quite notice it. Either way, keeping their perspective colors, their blues and their cyan. Master Leaf is sticking with his blue, and of course Futurama has his traditional cyan. And they've decided to do another mirror match. I say decided, but it was probably a happy accident by them multiple times, like when both players win or use rock in rock, paper, scissors like 4 or 5 times. Holy forklifts! Sorry. Like using rock 4 times in a row, you know, it is statistically not likely, but it is still possible, and that does appear to be the case here with Master Leaf and Futurama trying to get into each other's head. We do actually have a Reckoner Rush, which is going to get noticed by Futurama extremely early on. That is going to be very, very unfortunate. There's the Confessor Cabal squad getting its little bit of scouting out, poking around to see what it can get. Hopefully Futurama will be able to irk something out. We'll be able to prepare for that Reckoner Rush. We don't have the Black Hand squads like you normally get to see, so what I'm suspecting is the Reckoner is going to park its way into the Tiberium field of his opponent and begin to deal what damage it can where it can. There's the deployment of the Reckoner as it pops its way down. It only has 2 rocket squads in it right now. Once it deploys, it opens up another slot in order for that to happen. Reckoner has now begun to fight against all of these Scorpion tanks. Scorpion tanks getting microed out and deciding to start hitting the Harvester instead with a couple of bikes here in order to support the assault, moving their way in, moving their way out. And this Reckoner is still not going down and becoming a pest, but not finding the purchases that Master Leaf quite wants. I don't believe he built a second Reckoner. I believe it was just a one and done. There is his Black Hand squad taking out an early Tiberium spike of Futurama. Reckoner finally getting, there it is, finally getting taken down along with the rocket squads inside of it, ending this assault onto Futurama's main base. Looks like there is only 1 natural expansion per player. I'm kind of curious if these Tiberium spikes or Tiberium fields are a bit beefier than sort of your traditional field, or if the goal is just to have very, very limited funds. This isn't a smaller map. I'd call this more of like a medium map. Oh my god, there's forklifts on both sides. I'd call this more of a medium map, but either way, with the limited amount of resources, I know there are 2 sets of blue Tiberium, but the limited amount of resources, the small units are going to add up rather quickly. Scorpion tank's moving its way into these bikes, but the bikes are able to get a kill before one of them gets taken down, getting the kill almost for free. But I suspect that Scorpion was really just there for some scouting. and was able to get off what he wanted. This is a map where you can pop a lot of different garrisons in units, which means that Futurama's going to see this assault coming from a mile away, just like he did the Reckoner. However, he was a little bit aggressive, and actually Master Leaf is able to get an early Harvester. He's able to take that out rather quick and in a hurry. I believe that was a Harvester. I don't think that was the Scorpion tank. Either way, whatever it is, it was down and dead in a hurry. Secondary Scorpion tank getting taken out, but taking out a good chunk of these bikes rather quickly. If I remember correctly, you need 5 bikes and 2 volleys from each bike in order to kill a Harvester. I'm not sure if they were able to get that where they wanted. Black Hand Squad sitting inside this garrison building, going to be able to poke and get some damage here and there, but that's not his point over here. Harvester probably going to get caught in an unfortunate position over here, as only 1 defensive tower is out, 1 Shredder turret is out, and Master Leaf is undefended on his secondary natural expansion, electing to pop out more bike and buggy over in the south to deal with some more of these forces, but he needs to be helping his secondary natural expansion. And there is a War Factory, but a Harvester gets taken down. The second Harvester goes down, and I think losing a Scorpion as well. But the forces of Futurama are absolutely on the front doorstep of his opponent, as Master Leaf is going to lose another Harvester here in a second. Oh no, Master Leaf is not in a great spot. He's losing Harvester in unit after Harvester in unit. There are more Scorpion tanks here, finally, for the defense of his opponent, and Futurama is going to try to get out what units he can, taking out a bike on his way out, but only keeping 3 Scorpions. But I think the damage is done. That's going to hurt Master Leaf's economy. It's not going to win Futurama the game, but it is sure going to help. Garrison Black Hand Squad is finally getting flushed out just a little bit, but these Scorpion tanks are continuing to move their way in, and I believe they've overstayed their welcome. They've been a little bit aggressive, and another Scorpion tank sort of in a bad position, but I'm not sure either player really want this engagement. A little bit of a misclick over here as the Scorpions move their way in, trying to kill these Black Hand Squads, and they're continuing this dance back and forward. I think Futurama, because he has the high ground, has a little bit of an advantage over here, but he did give it up rather quickly, maybe not knowing how many forces Master Leaf has, and I think things are actually in Master Leaf's favor for the current moment. However, a lot of both Scorpion tanks on both sides are starting to hurt. Futurama moving some man spam into the center of the map to support his forces to control the center of the map, to control this blue Tiberium. Definitely a good call. He's going to be able to soak up all of this that he absolutely can. More and more I think about this map, the more and more I realize how important this center area is, controlling both sets of blue Tiberium, and more importantly, you have this up and down incline and decline for the perspective ramps. There's the one click over here, gonna soak up some more of the damage from the Shredder turret. Shredder turret's only gonna be able to do so much, but the forces for Futurama are on the front doorstep. He does not realize that he outnumbers Master Leaf, and maybe he's just waiting for the man span to move their way in and soak up some of the damage and take out some of these Scorpion tanks so they can begin to wipe up the rest. I'm not sure Master Leaf has an answer to this problem over here. Futurama taking out the spike over on the right-hand side of the map, but the most important part is that Futurama is still on the front doorstep of Master Leaf. Master Leaf does have Defender's advantage and does have a couple of War Factories out and is getting a couple of Flame Tanks out, but they are focused down just as quickly as they arrive. There is the GG. Master Leaf has thrown in the towel and has given the victory to Futurama. Futurama not pulling his punches whatsoever. Futurama definitely plenty practiced for this particular match. Thank you so much for tuning in, Commander. I have been your host, Korak. Transmission out.